There, it's dawn here at Stickletown, Smallholding in South Wales. As you can see, I'm down the cabin. It's Saturday, I think 31st of August it must be, is it? Last day of August. Tomorrow's the 1st of September. It's a beautiful sunny day outside. Should be out there getting lots done. Ignore the hat, by the way. I've just been having a bit of a tidy up here in the cabin and come across the hat, so I stuck it on out the way so I don't lose it again. Yeah, it's a nice, beautiful, let me turn the camera around, you can see out the windows there, sunny day. And I should be out there really doing a bit of work. It's too hot to be in the polytunnels. But there's plenty of other stuff to be done outside. Martin's got a big bonfire going down the field. But I've retreated to my cabin. There's a car rally going on literally at the end of our drive. So we can't come and go at all. We can't leave the farm. There's a marshal down there. They've blocked the end of our drive. We're not allowed to leave. We knew it was going to be happening. We did voice our objections, but they weren't listened to. The noise is sort of pretty horrific out there because there's sort of lots of bends and hills. So you've got the bang, bang, bang of the cars and the revving and everything. So the noise is quite a lot, and also the pollution. And I was out there and I was actually getting quite breathless. And the noise was starting to get to me a bit, so I've retreated down the cabin out of the way. It started at 8 o'clock this morning and it'll finish at 5-6 o'clock this evening. And yeah, we had hoped to go and see the tall ships coming in at Fishguard today, but then we found out they were closing the roads at 6 o'clock this morning. So we wouldn't have been able to get out. And it's been so disorganised. So the tall ships were coming into Fishguard, and so we were going to go. We had hoped to be able to pop along and see them, and beautiful day. It'd have been a fantastic day to go and see them coming in. And when we got the information through of the road closures and everything and the times, and they said 6 o'clock this morning and it wouldn't be reopened until after 5 this evening, and we thought, well, we can't go and leave the animals for that length of time, especially while there's a rally going on, and and our buffalo are due to calf, etc. So, a couple of hours window would have just sort of suited us fine, really. So we cancelled our plans. And then at about 11:15 this morning, it all went quiet with the rally cars, etc. And I thought, I'm just going to go down and speak to the marshal, because Martin had spoken to the marshal earlier and he'd said the road would be open for a 1 hour slot between 1 and 2. So, and I thought, I wonder if there's been an accident or something's happened, maybe they've stopped it. And I thought, well, in which case, we'd be able to go out. So I went down to speak to the marshal, and that's when I found out they've actually blocked off our driveway completely and they're parked up on it. And I said to him, and our grandson was hoping to get back home again today. He lives here with us. And we actually got two carloads of people who are viewing the rally from our spot that I'd pre-arranged with them, because I had some free passes, resident passes. So they'd been here viewing as well, and one of them had asked, do you know what time the break is? So because he thought about going down to where the catering vans were and getting something to eat. So I said, right, I'm just going to go up and ask the marshals. So I walked up the drive, asked the marshal, and he said, oh, they've stopped now. This was at 11:15. He said, and they won't be restarting again now. He says, they might restart within the hour. So if you leave, you might not get back in until the evening. He says, I can't tell you a start time of when it's going to start up again. And I says, well, my husband was informed between 1 and 2 there'd be a break. And they go, oh, no, they're doing the break now. So we thought, right, that's an hour. 3 hours. If we'd have known, and I'd actually said to the marshal, well, why, when the break happened, why didn't you come down and tell us? And he said, we're not obliged to tell you anything. And I said, well, I'm not obliged to have you actually sitting on my driveway with your vehicle. And he said, well, you can't stop us. And I goes, well, I can. And I says, because it's our driveway, we own that land. He said, well, I've got permission from, did he say MCS, which is, I think that was right, which is a motorsport thingy. And I goes, I didn't realise we'd sold the end of our driveway to them. And he said, you know, and then he's going on, he says, look, he says, you can't stop us parking here. I'm not allowed to move until the end of the rally. So we couldn't have got out anyway because his car was blocking it. He wasn't going to be moving. They'd got the end of the drive all taped off. I should actually go down there and sort of show you on a video. Yeah, so he was very, very unhelpful. And I was quite annoyed at that. I came up and I told the fellas who were up here watching the rally that it's open now, but the marshal can't say how long it's open for. So they decided to sit tight just in case they got stuck the other side and couldn't come back up. Yeah, so the noise has been pretty horrific. The worst of it has been, the worst was sort of, I suppose, about 9 o'clock this morning was helicopters. And these were the helicopters that were filming that first stage. Haven't heard them yet this afternoon. But they were going this morning. And we could see them following the cars down the mountain road, etc., and hovering where the big bend is. We got a big bend, a big double bend on a sharp hill going down, and so they were obviously filming that bit, etc. We weren't told there was going to be helicopters going over. So they were following the cars, of course, right to the very end and then coming back up again. But when they were coming up, they were cutting across our buffalo fields, and we had the buffalo stampeding everywhere. The noise was horrific. The helicopters were flying so low. And now we've got pregnant females up there. The alpacas were running around in a panic. I had goats running around in a panic. So I phoned up the stage manager, whose number we'd been given, and said to him, we can't have the helicopters flying over the water buffalo. You know, they're going to end up smashing through the fences and then they'll be out on the road. You know, I said we weren't told about helicopters, and there's no reason why, when they followed the cars down, instead of turning, let me get this right, instead of turning left to come back up the mountain. I don't know if you do turn left and right in helicopters. I don't really know a lot about them. But instead of turning left to come back up over the mountain, which brings you up over our buffalo fields, you know, if they were to veer right, they'd go up over the forest, and then they're not going to upset anybody. And he said, right, I'll speak to them. And then he phoned me back about half an hour later, and he said, right, we've had a meeting, spoken to them, and they won't be flying over your buffalo fields anymore. Well, they have been every time. And they sort of fly over and then deliberately come over the house, and that thump, thump, thump of the helicopter blades. It's like they're doing it deliberately, because we complained about them coming over the water buffalo fields. So there hasn't been any this afternoon, so the buffalo have all sort of calmed down. And yeah, so we're just sort of waiting really now for the helicopters to start up again. So yes, I'm down the cabin anyway. And I've just been sorting out my industrial machine, rethreading it all up and everything. And I've been picking out some fabric. I've just picked out this jelly roll of, it's 20 strips. Is it 20 or is it 22? 20 strips. And they're all in pale sort of peaches, pinks, whatever. And I've picked out a contrast fabric from my stash. And I'm going to have a go at a, what's it called? A jelly roll drag race quilt. Here is the completed part of the drag race quilt. This is part one. There is a video coming up showing the complete quilt and how I made it. Thank you very much for watching.